All right, let's binge watch The Monsters, because who wants to wait for part 2 to come out? We got The Great Thaw 2023 happening here. And this is one of the apartments that I got a call the day before on and said, hey, I got a frozen bathroom. So I isolated the water heater to the apartment. I cut in a ball valve to that apartment so the other 6 apartments can stay up and running. And luckily I did, because here's the hot water. Squirting like your sister, kid. Now, Saturday, I think I worked about 12 hours, maybe 13. I left my house at 6 a.m. I got back around 7 p.m. And some of you are going to say, that's crazy. I don't do that shit because I work commercial. But I used to say the same thing. While you make $1K a week, I make $6K in 2 days. This is another apartment I got a call that said, hey, my tub's not draining and my faucets and toilets and shower valves not working. So I knew that all above was frozen. And it's because it's in a crawl space. So I isolated this bathroom from the other 6 apartments, and luckily I did, because there was a leak on the cold and the hot side. Another solder joint decided to blow apart, so we're gonna change that with some ProPress, and I couldn't get the water to stop, so we just, ProPress. Imagine if I was sweating that in this little space. I would have been there all goddamn day. But instead I was there for seconds because I paid $2,000 for that tool you just saw land on my lap. And there's the sweat joint that popped apart because it got frozen. Just like a ProPress joint, when it freezes, it pops apart. So you can post all the videos you want of ProPress freezing and falling apart, but guess what? It happens to solder joints too. Now here's the hot joint. Luckily it wasn't in the crawl space. It was actually in the wall below the sink that was split. And there she is. Not to mention, so here we are again. I left my house around 5:30 today on Sunday, and I promised one of my sons has a birthday party to go to at something called Supercharge, which is go-karts, trampolines, the works, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I made sure to keep my promise to him and bring him to that birthday party. So we're on the move. We got to get this shit fixed. And every time my phone rang, I was actually scared to answer it. But at the same time, I just couldn't help but hit that button. Because I knew at the other end, you were getting charged Sundays, baby. Let's go. So now the hot water's back onto the kitchen sink, and we're going to turn it on to the sink. If you want to save yourself a $150 service call because you got a drippy faucet, you should try changing out the aerator first and just get rid of the pile of dirt that's sitting inside of it. Or you can call me and feel free to just pay for a couple of pre-rolls for me to get out there and do the same thing for you. But know this, if it's not your aerator, it's going to cost you more than a couple of pre-rolls, probably maybe an organ or a couple of limbs, depending on how tall you are. So at this point, but then my phone rang and I answered it. Because I know that these fixes today are going to take me about under an hour to fix, and I'm going to make more than about 4 hours worth of work. So here's another one. I'm not happy about it. It's FlowGuard. I honestly wish I never answered this call, because FlowGuard Gold is the worst piping to put your name on, whether you're fixing it or installing it. I told the homeowner not to turn the water on for a few hours and let the glue sweat. While I was doing that one, the phone rang again, and here's another one. Now, the valve is behind a locked door, so there's nothing I can do but record and make content at this point. This is what it's like after you drink about 30 Bud Lights and you go to the bathroom. No, but I contemplated on doing a live because the next door neighbor wasn't home in order to turn the water off because the meter was inside their basement. But then I thought again, I value my life and I didn't want to do it live. They came home, we shut it off and got it fixed, and I was able to get to the birthday party on time. Not on time, but within 30 minutes. Superstar came out. She's getting down and dirty and torturing the kids on the trampoline. And the phone just didn't stop while I was here. Here's the last call that I got. I believe it's 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. And of course, what better than a crawl space to be in on an 8 o'clock Sunday night job? Especially after it just got insulated above and you can't see any of the pipes. And of course, the leak was right above this rat's hole by the looks of it. Maybe a skunk's hole. Who knows? But once again, ProPress for the win. Just another blown pipe. There it is. Split wide open. You know like who. All in all, I made a great week's pay in 2 days. Maybe even more than a week's pay. I still billing people. But just so everybody knows, I may have worked 25 hours in the last 2 days like a plow driver. But I did take today off. Don't tell anybody. I had to get my mind situated. Hit the gym. You know, the works. I ended up getting a few calls on Monday morning, but I ignored them. And if you're listening, I'm sorry, I did ignore you. But hey, call me on Sunday so I can charge you triple time. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait till Monday. I've had about enough of making quick fixes. So there you have it, the Great Thaw of 2023 up in Boston. We're out of here.